What's going on, fellow Scooby Ruins? It's Scooby Drew here, and today we're going to be installing the Grimmspeed parts from my previous video. So if you guys don't know what parts I'm installing, make sure you guys watch that video, then come back to this one. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to the channel, and thank you guys so much for your support. If you're a new viewer, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed already, hit that notification bell. That way you get all the notifications of when I upload and whatever I do. Make sure you smash that like button. Drop a comment, do whatever you gotta do. But right now, it's about 34 degrees outside, which is why I have my hoodie on and I'm like all bundled up and I look like a little old lady. But it's freezing outside, so I'm just gonna run through this installation and walk you guys through the steps. It's real quick and easy. And then from there, we're gonna show you the before picture, which should be up in a little bit, and then the after picture. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy it, hope you guys like it. Now let's get into this install. So we're going to start off by removing the 3 pop clips that I'm pointing out to currently. Then from there we're going to move to the 4 10mm bolts that are there. And then on the parent radiator shroud I have 2 10mm bolts holding it in the back. So what we're going to do is go ahead, take your flathead, go ahead start removing the first pop clip. And they're a little stubborn. They're actually going to try to break on you. Just make sure you're careful with it. And just make sure you don't break anything, or like me, make sure you don't pop anything into the engine bay. I went later on to go find it, but I actually retrieved it. And then yeah, just the last pop clip. As you can see now, I'm trying to locate the pop clip, but I couldn't find it. I found it later on though. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start removing the 10mm bolts. I used a deep socket, as you can see, a deep 10mm with a 3/8 ratchet. Came out pretty easy. It's just a little stubborn. Oh, and one of the main reasons why I'm doing this voiceover right now is because when I did this video, it was probably about like 34 degrees outside and very windy. So when I went back and looked at the video, the audio quality was pretty bad. So I was like, you know what, let me just do a voiceover and call it a day, so that way you guys can get the best audio. Yeah, so once I remove this, you're gonna go ahead and remove the 2 in the back. Actually, the one on the passenger side towards the radiator hose was actually pretty loose, so I didn't really need to take that one out. But I realized that I couldn't get the socket in, so I have to actually take out the washer fluid reservoir. No, the coolant reservoir, I'm sorry. The coolant reservoir out, and then I was able to remove that with ease. Another tip is if you do have the actual parent radiator shroud, it's a good idea to take off the radiator cap. For the simple fact is it just makes everything easier. And with that, you're all done. The new one goes in, and this actually sits in between the bumper cover and the shroud, but I actually kind of messed up. Well, it's gonna be a struggle to get it in. Well, for me it was, because it was 34 degrees outside and the plastic was hard and it just wasn't cooperating with me. So once I finally got it in, everything, then you're able to put your pop clips back in, able to put your screws back in, and everything lines up perfectly. But what I did notice while I was editing this video, well, I started off with doing the 4 screws just to hold it in place, and then I went ahead and did my pop clips back. But what I did notice while I was editing this video is I actually messed up a little bit. If you notice on the driver's side, the passenger side towards where my ratchet is, I actually put it underneath the bumper. I didn't put it in between the 2 pieces of plastic. On the driver's side, I actually did it perfectly. But if you look really closely, it kind of goes off and then underneath. I did fix that once I looked at the video and I was like, damn. So I did actually fix that later on and everything sat perfectly, which is probably why I'm having trouble putting in one of the pop clips and I had to like bang it in. It did not want to go in whatsoever. So yeah, this pop clip right here was not having it whatsoever, obviously because I had put it underneath instead of in between. But I got it all done. Once you do that, you tighten everything up, tighten up your 4 10 mils, and then you're pretty much good to go. And then you put the radiator cap back on, and then you're good to go. Make sure you put the weather stripping on so it doesn't damage your air duct plastic. And just it just gives it a cleaner look. It makes it look like it belongs to the car. So once everything was done, and then afterwards, I realized that you're supposed to take out one of the 10 mil headlight screws and actually put it in between. So it was kind of like a struggle once everything was in place. If I would have known that earlier, I would have did it. But that's what I'm doing right now. Just taking out the 10 mil for the headlight and then putting it through the actual Grimmspeed radiator shroud and tightening it back up. It looked 10 times better because when I looked at it, something looked terribly off. I was like, this does not sit right here. So then I went ahead and did it, and it looked 10 times better. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. I'm gonna go do the alternator cover. It's just a 10 mil right there. Just take out that one 10 mil and everything should pop up. I was looking on the driver's side to see if there was another bolt, but there wasn't. So just wanna go ahead and actually pop up the alternator cover. Then there's a black grommet right there that you're supposed to pull out. So just be careful to make sure you don't stab anything. Make sure you don't break it or get your hands caught in anywhere. I used a flathead, it came out right there. Now here's why you're supposed to use a short, kind of like a short spacer, I guess you can say. You're supposed to put the small washer on, then the spacer, then on the bottom of the spacer, in between, you're supposed to put the large washer, put the bolt all the way through, another large washer, and then a nut. But I forgot that I was supposed to zoom out so I could show you guys this. I swore like everything was good and the camera was supposed to like zoom out on its own or something, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just making sure I put it. So make sure on the driver's side you put the long bolt, short washer, then a spacer, then a large washer. Underneath the bracket you put a large washer and another 10 mil nut, and then you should be good to go. Just tighten it up. And then on the passenger side, you're supposed to put the long bolt with a washer, as you can see. Then the spacer goes through and then it just threads right in, because the passenger side has already like a threaded nut from the actual original alternator cover. So right now you use I believe it's a 5 mil, 5 mil Allen key. I use a socket because it just makes everything easier. I had a 5 mil socket. So you just go ahead and snug them up. Again, I am sorry for the camera angle because I swore I zoomed out on it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you get that 5 mil back up, you're good to go. Now go ahead and move over to the fender shrouds. It's simple, 2 pop clips, one by the headlight and then one right there by the fender. And then you just remove that. You go ahead and take your new fender shroud, line it up. What you're gonna do is you're actually going to reuse one of your old pop clips just to keep that piece in place. And then for the front, you're actually just gonna use a 4 mil Allen screw with a small washer and then a 10 mil nut on the bottom. That's all it is. What I actually did is I held the nut with my 2 fingers and it tightened right up. You don't need to get a wrench or anything in there as far as my go. But that's it. That completes the installation. Hope you guys liked it. This is the final product. Everything's installed. This is the final picture. This is how the car looks right now. But yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure you subscribe, like, drop a comment, do what you gotta do. And hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching.